This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Place to Be Nation Wrestling. Welcome to episode number 34 of NWA Crock and Roll. I am your host, Sean Kidd, and we are here with part 2 of March 86, where we're going to look at some stuff in action that happened from March 8th through March 9th, 1986. As always, I am joined by my esteemed co-host. Up first, Dr. G, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Really enjoying breaking this stuff down. I'll tell you, I'd say it every show, but it's been a joy, and would be nice if we could have wrestling like this back today.
Well, at least we have this to go back and look on, and we got a long journey ahead of us. We're only in March of 86, so we got to make it to December 88. So we got a few years left of this, so at least we have this to go back and rewatch, which is great.
Yes.
So, all right, Calum McDougall, how are you tonight?
I'm very good, Sean. Thank you very much. Good to be back in the saddle after a few episodes off. Last episode, got me right back into the swing of things. So looking forward to chugging along into March 1986.
Yep, it's like riding a bike. You jumped right into it. So good to have you back. And last but not least, our fourth horseman, Scott Shiflett.
Glad to be here tonight. Glad to see if we're gonna see if Tully's a man of his word and he's gonna take that title from Dusty. I can't wait to find out what happens.
Yeah, and it's the very first thing we're going to talk about. But as always, before we get into that, let me do the title breakdown. So your world champion is still Nature Boy Ric Flair. U.S. champion still Magnum TA. Your tag team champions are still the Midnight Express. The national tag titles we will not bring up anymore. They are vacant, but they are pretty much done at this point, so we will not bring them up after the night. The junior heavyweight champion is still Denny Brown. Your TV champion is Arn Anderson. Your six-man champs are the Russian / Baron von Raschke. Your Mid-Atlantic champion is Sam Houston, and as of right now, your national champion is Dusty Rhodes. So with that, are we ready to jump right into it?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we are looking up first is the March 8th edition of the Saturday night that you can watch on the Peacock. And we are starting right away with the Tully Dusty scenario. If you remember on our last podcast, Tully made a prediction. He had 2 matches scheduled over the course of the next week and guaranteed in one of those matches he would win a national heavyweight title. So let's see what we do. So we open up with Tully with JJ, and we open with a very clear close-up at the national title and pan out as Tony is with JJ's Dylan and Tully is the new national champion. So Tully made the prediction, and here he is. And Tully is absolutely killing the maroon suit look. This suit is amazing. JJ gloats. He goes, "I told you so," and says the time frame element, an exciting time for him. He talks about women wanting to touch Flair and Tully He asked Tully what motivates these women. Tully told him the thrill of the chase. Living proof here as he taps the national title that it was inevitable. He puts over the title. Tully says congrats are well due. He gives Dusty credit for kicking out of the slingshot suplex. But the bottom line is he dealt with the dealer. He took Dusty down. Says he's the man of the hour, the week, the month of the year. Says Dusty and Baby Doll go back to the bottom of the ladder. Says he never said I quit, and U.S. title is his too, which was pretty funny. JJ says now that Tully is champ, we have heard the last of I quit in the arenas. So before we jump into what we're going to talk about next, gentlemen, we'll talk about this promo and what our thoughts are on Tully being a new national champion. We'll actually watch the match, but I want to hear your thoughts here first. So Dr. G, what do you think of this opening of our episode?
Well, you know what? The great booking here. If you're going to have a heel like Tully say he's going to do something, have him do it. And that's exactly what they did. And again, just his cockiness, he and Dylan, it's just, I mean, Tully's just an awesome heel. He really is. And it was just so good to see that they did let him back up his words. Because that makes you even, gives you even more heat. Because he said he was going to do this and he did it. And now he's walking around with the championship and gloating and, egging on Dusty. You can keep this feud going, or you can, go into another feud. It's just good booking. And, at that time, I think it was Dusty booking. So I'm glad that he actually did the right thing in this aspect.
Yeah, Tully and Dusty, it seems, are joined at the hip. They feuded over the TV title and now the national title. And, so a lot of Tully and Dusty on this podcast as the history. And here we are again. Calum, what did you think of this?
Peek behind the curtain. As I told you guys the other day, I somehow managed to watch this part first.
Yes.
In our watch. So I was more shocked than probably you guys, because I hadn't had the couple of weeks build up, or the last wee bit of build up before this. It was very shocking to me. I did know at some point that it was coming, but I didn't think it was coming right at this very moment. And certainly, again, having to make the best of a bad situation when they just basically cut ties with Buddy Landell very, very abruptly. This is certainly an upgrade to the national champion that we had at the start of the year.
All right. And Scott, what did you think?
Yeah, just when you see a heel say he's going to take the title from Dusty within 4 weeks and he does it, that adds more strength to the heel. And it's just great storytelling because, then it shows that Tully's a man of his word, because even if he goes and lies about something that he does from now on, he can always hold back and say the truth. I told everyone I was going to beat Dusty in 4 weeks, and I did. And he looked so smug. Like, you just wanted to reach to the TV and smack the taste out of Tully's mouth. It was great.
Yep. So really good stuff here from Tully and from JJ, and I like the follow-up from the prediction and the timeline. So this has been a really well-built feud, well-built storyline. And now we're going to go later in the show. So what we'll do is we'll talk about the match, and then we'll talk the Dusty promo, and then I'll get your thoughts on both. So Tony and David enter the match. Tully just discussed that we just discussed. David puts over both as best athletes in the world and the best title. Love how they put the titles and the wrestlers over. They do such a good job of it, making it feel really big. Says let the fans judge for themselves, and they go to the match, and the match is joined in progress. So it is Dusty versus Tully for the national title. Where we open up, Tully kicks Dusty in the leg. Flair is on commentary as Dusty goes outside. Tully works Dusty's leg out there. Then JJ does too, and David Crockett flips out on Flair as Flair says he didn't see it, which was fantastic. The crowd is absolutely nuclear, chanting for Dusty. Back in the ring, Tully keeps working the leg. Dusty fights back and elbows out. Dusty can't stand up until he attacks the leg some more with a spinning toe hold and a figure four. Dusty reverses it. Dusty gets a nice football tackle, goes for a slam, but can't do it. Tully works the leg again and does a nice slingshot suplex. Good visual on a big guy with the slingshot suplex and gets a 2 count. The crowd flips on the kick out, and Tully stunned, as are the announcers, because as Tully gave Dusty credit for it as promo, No one's ever kicked out of the slingshot suplex, so giving Dusty a little bit of the rub. Dusty does a flying clothesline off the ropes, does some punches. Flair is putting over the match as one of the best matches he's ever seen. There's a sleeper. JJ goes up on the apron. He does a sleeper to JJ, but JJ goes in his pocket, which is visually this whole thing and how it plays out is really well done. He gets a sleeper on JJ, but he goes into his pocket. He tosses a foreign object to the side to Dusty as the ref is out of view on the other side and can't see it. The ref, of course, is Tommy Young. Tully swings with the object, and Dusty sends him over the top rope. Flair's out and up for the commentary and puts the object back in Tully's hand. There's another swing from the apron that Dusty ducks. Dusty goes for a back suplex, but Tully hits him with the object in midair for the 3 count. Very reminiscent of Tito versus Savage at the Garden literally a month earlier. The same exact finish with the foreign object on the back suplex and punches him in the 3 count. We have a new champion. Arn is in. Baby Doll's in. And Baby Doll goes to town and attacks Flair. JJ pulls her off. He gets a slap to JJ. Arn and Tully tackle Baby Doll down. Flair goes to the top rope to attack her, but to save by Magnum TA. And other faces run in as the Horsemen run. Wow, this was a freaking really good stuff. Good match. We'll do the match ratings after I do the next promo. Back in studio with Tony, with Dusty. Dusty says hard times have fallen in his house again. Always seems to be hard times. Says, let me tell NWA, the Crockett, the rest, Ric Flair, Tully Arn something. And he walks around with Baby Doll and says, why not take everything? You took the world title. You took the national title. You took my pride. Take my clothes. And he starts taking his clothes off, his glasses off, and unzips his pants. And we cut out. Oh, my God, guys, between the match and this whole segment with Dusty after, this is amazing. The match I went 3 stars on. Love the after promo. Dusty's just out of his freaking mind, and we almost got naked Dusty Rhodes on TV. Colin, what did you think about the match and the after promo?
It was a really good match, good chaotic fun. I've got as we've said on more than one occasion, and it won't be the last time we say it either. The Mid Atlantic crowd is absolutely nuclear for everything, and then on top of that, you give them Dusty and Tully, and a proper marquee match that you wouldn't always necessarily see on television. The pop when Dusty reversed the figure 4, was huge. Eclipsed only by the pop he got when he kicked out the slingshot suplex. And I've got a note here that you must have been pissed because that's your main man's protected finisher right there.
Yes, I love that. I love that move a lot.
It was good chaotic fun. I've got 2.75 stars for it. Post match was excellent. But I've got a note as well. Rock and Roll Express, Magnum TA, Dusty Rhodes, and Sam Houston. One of these things is not like the other. Houston, God love them, they're still trying with Sam Houston, but and I thought the interview itself was great. It really got as absurd as the whole thing was. It really got the point across that Tully Blanchard and the rest of them have like taken everything. They almost took his career with the ankle break. They've just taken everything from him. But it was thank goodness for the camera cut when it did, because if he'd kept going, I've got a funny feeling the people at Techwood Studios that day saw the Dusty chode.
All right, so you went 2 3/4.
Yes.
All right, Scott, what'd you think?
Oh, that was an image, Calum. Thank you. I didn't need that.
Yeah,
this match was awesome. Like, I was kind of shocked that they showed it before they did the Tully promo, considering everything. But even with the promo, I even bit when Tully hit the slingshot. Like, that's how good this match was. I loved that when JJ stomped Dusty and Flair goes, I didn't see that. It was perfect. I love when you said that. I even have it written down here. Dusty's selling of the ankle is really good in this match. He's selling it like it's death. He can't even stand on it at one point. The crowd is just molten hot. Like, this is just amazing. And when Tully, gets the win, crowd's losing it more than they start attacking Baby Doll. And Flair's about to come off the top rope and break her leg or something. and the crowd like hits its apex when like Magnum runs in for the save and a couple other good guys. It's just what I was talking about last episode. But I'm going 3 1/4 with this, and Dusty's cut a hell of a promo compared to the promo we saw last episode where he was saying, called someone in the studios a fat ass. So like this was just wonderful storytelling.
Yep. Dr. G, what did you think of the match? And what was your rating on the match, Scott?
I'm sorry, 3 1/4.
3 1/4. All right, Dr. G, what did you think of the match and the after promo?
Well, I went a 3 1/4 as well. This was just phenomenally done. I love this Mid-Atlantic crowd. I mean, they are just hot for this stuff. And it's funny because I wrote down about the ending that it reminded me of Savage and Tito.
We're old school people, so it's naturally going to pop in our head, I think.
Exactly. But, again, perfect heel heat that you're getting here. Tully said he made a promise that he was going to win this championship in 4 weeks. He did it. But you knew he wasn't going to do it cleanly. We knew that. That's his gig. And just the whole storytelling was very good. Dusty just losing it in the promo. Absolutely hysterical. Taking off his clothes.
That was one for the record books. Like, he was going full on and pulling them pants down.
Oh, my gosh. It's hysterical. But I'll tell you, I really, really enjoyed it. 3.25 stars. I think you really this definitely was a great feud. Tully and Dusty definitely had a chemistry with each other. And, I know that we loved all the Magnum Tully stuff, but the Dusty Tully stuff is not bad either.
No, I'm going to add to a couple things. So we have watched a few Tully and Dusty matches. So they had Superstars on the Superstation, which I wasn't a big fan of. They battled at the first Bash, which I thought was kind of a lame match. This might be, for me, in the history of this podcast, my favorite Dusty Rhodes match I've ever watched. I thought the storytelling was really good. I liked the ending with, like, even the little things, like putting JJ in a sleeper and JJ pulling it out of his own pocket on the opposite side of the ref. Like, that was just so well laid out. And then Flair's involvement. I really enjoyed this match, and it was good to see Dusty in a match with Tully that I really, really enjoyed. So I would recommend anybody listening to this show go out of your way and find it. You can find the full match on YouTube, I believe, but I think what we saw was really, really great. So with that, we're going to move on, and we're going to go to a Ric Flair interview. Flair says today is a sad day for Mama Catherine in Houston, Texas, because her boy, the Dream, is no longer the national champion. He says the new talent is taking over Jim Crockett Promotions. So he talks about the Midnight Express are the World Tag Team Champions. Tully Blanchard is the national champion, managed by the great J.J. Dillon. Ric Flair is custom made, says Garvin has no belt. No belt is a man without a country. He says Dusty has no belt. He has no life. He pins a match with Dusty in Cincinnati so he can finish Dusty off. You'll be without a belt and a leg, which was great. Says Baby Doll sticks nose in, will break her leg too. He goes in on facing Garvin soon in Atlanta. Talks about rocking his rear off, celebrating. He brings up Hawk of the Road Warriors and says Ellering will be carrying his respirator. Then he brings up Ricky Morton, the girls in training bras or training underwear. These girls follow Rock around, even want to find out what real men are about. Look up Ric Flair. Says he's custom made. Can get one of his jackets for $1,100. He's Ric Flair. He's rocking it all the way. He walks off. I mean, man, Flair was feeling his shit tonight. This was a freaking fantastic promo where he calls out all the people that are champions, calls out all his upcoming challengers, and lays the groundwork for a sneaky good upcoming set of feud that we're going to see with Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express. So, Scott, I will go to you first. What did you think of this Flair interview?
Flair was on his shit tonight. Like you said, I just loved Ronnie Garvin, the man without the country line was great. And this was a nice little thing where he was mentioning where he was going to wrestle all these wrestlers. And it's a good way of extra advertising. Like you said, he was going to battle Dusty and he was going to battle Ronnie Garvin and then Hawk and Ricky Morton. It was great. It was like, if you want to see me and you live in, say, Cincinnati, I'm on my way. I just love that. And it was great. And Baby Doll gets threatened right there. You know, shows why Flair is one of the best promos of all time.
All right, Dr. G, what'd you think?
I think, one thing about Ric Flair, agreeing with you, Scott, here, is that he's just so well-rounded, and he kind of covered so many things in just that 3-4 minutes. And basically, because this is what this show is all about, is, promoting the house shows, he kind of hit it all. And, and the thing is that those were all his opponents. I mean, this guy wrestled every single night. So he was always in a feud with someone, and then how he plays it out on television in terms of how he touches on each little feud and kind of mentions everybody, but gets it all done in like 3-4 minutes is just amazing to me. So, I mean, have we really seen a bad Ric Flair promo in the time we're doing this? Not really.
No, but this one was really good.
This one was really good. I mean, can you say maybe just a regular average Ric Flair? Fine, if you want to say that, but for the most part, all his promos are usually top notch. Absolutely.
Calum, what did you think of this Flair promo?
Oh, I thought it was typical Ric Flair. He just as you were saying, covers all the points in such a short space of time, and I think it was helped by the sheer mountain of cocaine that he must have done before he came out, because he didn't take a breath. It looked as if his heart would probably explode at any point.
Probably copious amounts of cocaine, maybe.
Yeah. Looking at him, just seeing this one, I think Tony Montana would probably have told him to maybe slow down a bit here, pal. Yes. But yeah, it was excellent. Even highly intoxicated Ric Flair can still hit all the points. It's just it was great. And I normally look for Tony's reaction to these, because he's always just like normal, like one of us, but just gets the best seat in the house. But he was I don't think he quite kept up with him, because he just looked baffled, or sort of just, he didn't look as if he'd taken it all in, but he just hit every single point really quickly and covered. Just took pot shots at everybody with a pulse in the backstage. But I thought it was great.
All right, so good stuff here. And just Flair being Flair, totally dusty. So we've opened up hot. So now we're going to go into a couple of promos between the Russians and Magnum TA to continue the build of the feud between him and Nikita, TA and Nikita. So Ivan and Nikita are out with the 6-man trophy. Tony says an offer has been made and a contract to be signed. Ivan goes into the Road Warriors and Ellery sticking their nose and sticking their nose and stuff. So they're going to have chain matches and they will be embarrassed. But they'll have cage matches coming up too. Tells Ellery to sign a contract to give him the ring to do a 6-man tag too. Says TA rumor is ready. Says TA is the rumor is they want to do it on TV, but it's all hearsay. We have seen no contract. I just see TA attacking Nikita from behind, whereas Nikita goes face to face to challenge you. Nikita holds up a bunch of letters that says TA has no guts to face Nikita. Says TA knows Nikita going to be U.S. champion. He's afraid. And then Ivan drops, says Dream better keep his nose out. Later on, TA comes out. Tony says, you heard the claims from the Russians. TA says, don't insult his intelligence. Says Russians have said all the steps, say what they want. TA says he wants Nikita on TV for this belt. He's tired of talking, and it's a bunch of crap. Says his belt was earned with heart and hard work, and no one will disgrace it. Tell the Kremlin I'll wrestle you for nothing. And there's a nice close-up on the brand new U.S. title belt, which to me is the all-time greatest U.S. title belt. And it's really, they like sneak it in very, very, very odd, just very sneaky, and there it is, bright. Like they did a big thing about the world title belt when they changed it to the big gold belt. For the U.S. title, they didn't make a great big deal about it. But for me, this is my personal favorite U.S. title, by the way. Yes, I do have it in my collection because I love it so much. And says he will finish Nikita if I jump on your face or your back. Belt is mine. Says go for it. I thought it was really great fire from Magnum TA. Like probably one of the biggest. He was really, really feeling it and just pure fire. And this feud is just building, and I love it. So Scott, I will go to you first.
Yeah, I love Nikita. with saying in the promo that Magnum knows that he's better and he's afraid. It's just amazing. And Nikita looked crazy when he's holding up all these like receipts. It looked like of the notes and everything in their promo. I also did like Ivan saying that they're calling out the Road Warriors, so keeping that feud going on as well, while saying they're going to be in a cage match and 6-mans across the country. Magnum had a hell of a nice fired up promo that we've been getting a lot out of him recently, especially in this Nikita feud. And he says like, basically calls like the Russians that they're pansies, and like he just wants Nikita and he'll do it for free. And I really do enjoy that U.S. title, Sean. That's a very nice looking belt.
Yeah, it is. It's an absolutely beautiful belt. Dr. G, what did you think of this?
Again, Nikita in small doses, like if he's not in a really long promo, he really does a good job of getting his point across. The other thing, again, just going back to like the last promo, is I like how then, like you said, Ivan threw in there about, the Road Warriors, where they keep all these feuds alive just by mentioning things here and there, just to kind of keep it fresh in your memory. And Magnum TA, like I said, has really, really improved from the beginning of when we started doing these watches to now. Again, another guy, don't get him in there having a 5 or 6 minute promo, then it's not good. Let him do a couple of minutes, fired up, and he gets his point across, and he does a great job. And I love that U.S. belt. I am total agreement with you, Sean. That's my favorite U.S. title, is that one. I just love it.
Yep. And Calum, wrap us up on this segment here.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice build up to it, bringing it up to a boil. And we know what's coming next is going to produce some good stuff. The Russians mean business because they are wearing their proper clothes as opposed to being out in singlets. And then the Magnum promo I've got. I've made a particular note about how it was a good fiery promo, better than his usual ones, because when he gets all fired up and gets a bit shouty, he's got a tendency just to start stumbling over himself. But this one was on point. He hit everything. Everything came across really well. So I thought it was really, really good. And of course, yeah. I don't know, is this the first sight of the new belt? The Luger belt, as I'm calling it. But it is absolutely stunning. So nice to see big visual upgrades for Jim Crockett in the last few episodes.
Yeah, normally I would argue with you about the Luger belt, but it really is the Luger belt, right? He actually what's funny about that is he retires this belt. At Wrestle War in 91, if you remember that, by the way, with Nikita Koloff involved, if everybody's remember that big angle, right? So, I totally get it. But yeah, Magnum TA is the first one to hold this belt, and this will be the U.S. title through February of 91. So, just FYI. All right. So with that ends the Saturday night show from this time, and we are going to the next night. We are going to March 9th. 1986, and we're back in Roanoke. On our last episode, we did a 222 house show from Roanoke. Tonight, just a few weeks later, March 9th, 1986, and we're going to open it up just like we did on the last one with Magnum TA versus Nikita for the U.S. title. On our last episode, 3 of us were not a big fan of the Nikita TA match. Calum was okay. I think he went 2 stars on it, so let's see how this one goes up. So we have some lockups, a feeling out to start, loud USA chants. Nikita gets multiple knees to gut, but TA back elbows him. TA works over the arm, throws Nikita's arm into the ring post. Match seems to be cut during long rest hold. So again, like the last one we watched, seems to be cut. It might be a good thing. Ivan also interferes on TA. Nikita works over TA with punches and then kicks and does snake eyes on the top rope. More Ivan interference throws TA into the rails outside. TA gets a sunset flip for 2. Nikita with a side headlock, which goes on forever. Nikita gets a Russian hammer to the throat, and then we get more chin lock. And again, I'm just thinking if they cut the boring parts out, I could not imagine how bad this match is. The crowd, but it's super hot. TA fires up with punches, chops, and gets a belly to belly out of nowhere. Ivan in for the DQ. He beats up Ivan. Nikita attacks in the double team. Sickle to TA. Elbows and leg drops until Sam Houston runs in. Houston getting his little spot here to make the save. Guys, again, this is another match that I wasn't overly impressed with. In Roanoke again, I think I went 1.25 stars in this one. I went 1 star in the last one, but man, they got to ramp up something in this because I am not feeling this feud. The match quality, I am not feeling that matches up to the promos. Dr. G, I'll go to you first. What'd you think of this match?
I agree. I think the promos are better than the matches. It makes you want to see the match, but once you see the match, I agree with you. I went at 1.5 stars. Just again, there's no chemistry there. I don't know. It's just on paper it looks like it would be a great match, and it's just kind of a dud and a lot of interference. I don't know. Just this wasn't doing it for me. I mean, the crowd's hot. I mean, the crowd kind of saves it, to be honest.
So what did you rate it?
1.5 stars.
1.5. Okay. Calum, I'll go to you because you were a fan of the last one we talked about. What'd you think of this one?
I thought this was better than the first one.
I agree. It was better, but not by much for me.
Oh no, I thought it was. I thought it was an excellent follow-on from the last one. I really enjoyed it. It was different. I originally thought this was, because I know we've done house shows from a couple of places. I thought this one was in a different. I thought this one was in Charlotte. So I thought they could have been. I wasn't expecting to see both pretty much the same match again. But I thought it, I mean I did for whatever reason I thought it was really good. I actually went now this might get me kicked off, but I put 2.75 on this
good
one.
Jeez.
What?
What the fuck?
No, no. For whatever reason, I really enjoyed it. And other than the Hog Irwin match, which was an absolute shitter. I don't think we've seen many bad Magnum matches. I did not think this one was bad at all.
I think there's some severe bias in being an unofficial Koloff on your end with these matches, Calum.
Well, there is that. I mean, I'm predisposed to follow Family Ties, but unless I have clicked on the wrong link, I thought this one was really good.
So Colin, just seriousness, and I know this is a running gimmick. You think this match is better than the Wahoo Flair 2 out of 3 matches? You think this one's better?
Yeah, because it was about half an hour shorter.
Jesus Christ, you were out of your fucking mind. Scott, what did you think of this match?
I'm flabbergasted right now, but yeah, this was a little rough. Calum was right in one thing, that it was better than the other one that we saw. And I saw Ivan do like a heel move as a manager, which I think needs to be used more. It's when Magnum got thrown into the corner and the ref was talking to Nikita. Ivan grabbed Magnum's trunks to hold him there so Nikita could then hit him again in the corner, which I thought was a really good heel move because Magnum was blocking the ref from seeing what Ivan was doing. So I would like to see that used more often. I did like Magnum firing up and hitting the belly to belly out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was the best part of the whole match, where it just came out of nowhere. That was good.
Yeah. I went 1.75 stars on it. But yeah, I'll have whatever you're smoking, Calum, for that 2.75.
Dr. G, before I move on, you'd like to say anything about Colum's take on that match? Anything you'd like to add?
Maybe he's got different. Do you wear glasses? I don't know. What are we missing, Calum?
I don't know. Bless your heart, Calum, because wow. Anyway, okay, we're gonna move on to the next match after that one. It is a match between the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express. It is a 2 out of 3 falls tag team title match. The match is clipped, but I think what we get is pretty good. Nuclear heat on Cornette and the Express. The crowd goes nuts when the Rock and Roll come out. I popped at the angry announcer, like the announcer's yelling at people for throwing stuff, which popped me big time. It was hilarious. Robert opens up whiffing on a drop kick that Bobby sells, so not the best way to start. Eaton retreats to the corner on a monkey flip. 2 shoulder blocks from Eaton to Morton. Morton punch on a third attempt. Midnight Express finally get the heel heat on Orton, including a cornet racket shot. There's knees and a more racket shot to Morton as ref pushes Gibson out, who's trying to make the save. There's an awesome Eaton top rope knee drop to Morton's arm. Condrey throws arm into the railing outside. Again, I can't say enough about the Midnight Express's tag work. Morton gets the hot tag. The crowd goes nuts. Gibson's taken on both and gets a sunset flip to Eaton for the first fall for 3. We go back. We get a double drop kick. Eaton and Condrey block the ref from counting. Cornette in. There's a double drop kick to him. Eaton gets a racket shot for 3 to win the second fall for the Midnight Express. Ricky then grabs the racket and goes nuts on the Midnight Express for the DQ. The Midnight Express win 2 of the falls, 1 DQ, 1 by pin. This was clipped. It was a lot of fun and very nuclear hot. I went 3 stars on this. Calum, I will go to you first. What did you think?
I enjoyed the match. It was very, very bizarre to me because I didn't quite. I'm watching it. It was, it was going along nicely, as you would expect a Midnights and Rock and Roll Express match to move along, and then it looked as if there was a really botched finish. Me not knowing that this was 2 out of 3 falls, I can see the pattern of my thinking as I'm writing my notes. So Gibson comes in, standing next to the pin, and remembers he wasn't meant to break it up, or is it just a completely botched finish? It didn't look good at all. It's restarted. What the fuck's happening here?
Yeah, it was confusing. Yeah.
It's 2 out of 3 falls. What I maybe should have done was gone back to watch it again, knowing it was 2 out of 3 falls. Because there was a good part of the middle part of the good section of the middle part of the match where I was just confused. But yeah, it was really, really good. I have gone, was it as good as Nikki Tin Magnum? Maybe not. No, I have gone 3 and I can't even write in here. 3 and 1/4 star.
All right, you had me worried there for a minute on the better, not better than the mag. Okay, all right, Scott, what did you think of this match?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought I missed something with the 2 out of 3 falls as well, so I'm glad Calum and me had the same issues. As you said, Sean, the tag team work from Midnight Express is great. I love when Bobby was getting hit and then he had to be consoled by Dennis. I just love that spot. I got really confused when Rock and Roll got the win and then they didn't get the titles. And I was like, oh, best 2 out of 3. It was really great. Cornette gets involved. Everyone wants to see him get his ass beat. I went 2 3/4, and I will say I did enjoy how you said the person got over the PA and was like, "Stop throwing stuff in the ring," because
he was pissed off. He was like, "God, it is great. I loved it. I love it. Realism in 1986 wrestling is great.
It really is. It adds really something. It adds something to the match, because at this time, I'm just gonna assume that most people thought wrestling was still real. Is that correct?
Probably. I mean, well, NWA for me, I think most people would consider the NWA feels real versus WWE, but I'm sure there's a lot of people there that thought it was real at the time. I know I did at the time because I was still a kid. So
yeah. So, but it's just stop throwing shit in the ring, and you just see Cornette just getting hit with hot dog wrappers and everything. It was awesome.
So amazing. Dr. G, what'd you think of this match?
I went 3 stars. I enjoyed it. I was a little confused by the whole 2 out of 3 falls thing too. So
I purposely didn't tell you guys either because I wanted to see if you would catch it or not. So shame on me.
But that's all right. I keep us on our toes. So we all 3 of us caught it. But these 2 teams. I mean, you see this on paper. You're like, you got to at least get a 3-star match out of this, and we did. And the crowd just so hot and throwing stuff in the ring. I mean, that is just – these Southern crowds really, really were hot at this time. It's amazing. You know, and the Rock and Roll Express, I mean, I know they say the Road Warrior pop, but a lot of people from that time says that Rock and Roll Express was just as loud as Road Warriors and Hogan at that time.
And here's a shit take for you, a better team as well. I'm sorry, Dr. G. I know you love the Road Warriors. I apologize.
I mean, obviously, as wrestling and actual wrestling match, yes, they are better, but the whole package to me, I just was never a big. I mean, great matches. I don't know. I never really was into them as a team. Like I would never say they were my favorite team at the time.
Oh no, they're not my favorite team either. But you know what? I should probably take that back. Them and the Midnight Express can do no wrong. That's kind of,
I agree with you in terms of their in ring work. Both teams phenomenal.
Yep. Awesome. So yeah, really good tag team match there. So let's go to our final match on this house show. Dusty Rhodes getting another match with Ric Flair for the world title. So this is like the 4th or 5th time we've seen a world title match between these two on this show. So crowd, again, super loud. For Dusty and Baby Doll. Dusty does some really great pelvic thrust, which I give 5 stars to because he absolutely popped me doing it. Dusty works the arm, does some elbows to Flair's head. Flair with chops and punches. Dusty reverses the chops and does some elbows to Flair's head. Then he walks over and kisses Baby Doll, which I thought was fantastic. Flair does a kick to the leg. Here's one thing I'm going to say. This kick to the leg thing is starting to become kind of a crutch. I don't think it was a very good kick, and Dusty sells it really, really strong. The injury was over 5 months ago, and he still sells like it's the weakest thing ever. So I don't know. I just think he sold it like death, and I didn't like it. You get your typical Flair leg work. Figure 4, loud Dusty chants, and it's a long figure 4, and it has multiple 2 counts. Dusty reverses it, and Flair gets to the ropes. Flair misses a butt. Does to do the old butt drop to the leg wide straight over the rope, and he misses it. Dusty wishbones Flair, his crotch between the ring post. Dusty is on Flair, but then gets kicked to the balls. There's a shoving match with the ref, a sleeper to Dusty, and then Dusty runs Flair into the corner, the turnbuckle to get out of it. Dusty outside throws Flair into the ring post, which makes him bleed. There's punches and elbows back inside. Dusty with a sleeper of his own. He flicks Flair off and does an elbow to the head. There's multiple pin attempts by both. Flair up top gets tossed off. A football tackle, but Dusty hits the ref. There's a clothesline and a cover with no ref. Baby Doll gets the ref. Flair kicks him back out of the ring. Hits Dusty with his boot for the 2 count. Baby Doll up on the apron. Flair grabs her. Ref pushes him off. Dusty grabs the boot to Flair, and then hits him multiple times. The ref turns and gets the DQ. Dusty then hits the ref with the boot, and Flair bleeding walks out. Guys, I really love this. I thought it was really quick paced, and I just thought this is great. I went 3 stars on this. Scott, what did you think of this match?
Okay, I thought I was a lunatic because I went 3 stars as well, Sean.
Oh, I love this.
This was great. Like outside, like the thing with Dusty still selling his foot that was broken like 6 months ago, it feels like now. But there was one part where Dusty was working Flair in. He was like throwing his leg into like the rope, into the rope on the outside, and Flair had Tommy Young pull him back into the middle of the ring, which I thought was hilarious. Like you can look over and Flair's like yelling, "Pull me now!" and like he just pulled him, which I thought was great. Baby Doll distracting Flair, and Flair went into, he does this Flair move where he kisses her, and then Dusty gets a roll up from that, and I love like them still using like the boot as like the punch to knock everyone out, and it was just awesome. I really enjoyed this match. It was a nice pace as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. Dr. G, what did you think of this match?
Probably we've seen a few of the Dusty Ric Flair matches. Mm-hmm. Probably one of the best, if not the best one we've seen.
I agree 100%.
Where there was a lot of action, and say what you want about Dusty. No, in ring is he the greatest? No, but he knows how to sell very well, and his showmanship adds to the match. And I mean, these two did have a chemistry. I think just sometimes they wrestled so much that I don't want to say they ran out of things to do, but just some nights I don't think they had that same chemistry as other nights. But this one they were really on, and the crowd was hot for it. And you always have those wacky finishes or where a referee bump, the whole deal. That stuff is just what happens at house shows, and you come to accept. I don't let that ruin the whole match for me. But you have to go 3 stars on this one. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I was glad you put it on here because I think, when we first started this, I would say how much I love Dusty and, I remember all the Dusty Flair matches. Well, these are some matches like this is what I remember that I remember seeing.
You know what's amazing? We've been doing this pod for a year and a half, and this episode alone probably has my two favorite Dusty Rhodes matches that we've watched so far between Tully and now Rick. That's saying something. 18 months we waited for this.
Probably this is like at his peak, really.
Yeah, it's really great to see. Really great to see. Calum, what did you think?
When I first saw this was on the cards for watching, I was not looking forward to it. I'm not going to lie, because we've seen, as Dr. G was saying, we've seen quite a few Dusty Flair matches just now, and they've all sort of been paint by numbers. Getting by on their personalities, sort of thing. So it was so firing it up. I wasn't overly looking forward to it, and I saw it was about 25 minutes. I'm thinking that here we go, so another 25 minutes of just more of the same.
You were ready for a Wahoo like rant, weren't you?
I wasn't ready for a Wahoo like that, because the thing is, like, when we've watched these matches, and I don't think I've ever given them less than, apart from the Mid-South one that was out the outdoors, was it WrestleFest?
Oh yeah, WrestleFest. Yeah,
that one was quite bad. The rest of them, you know what you're going to get, and they're never bad. But this one, I went 3 and a quarter on this one as well.
Nice. Very nice.
I thought they raised their game for this one, and I wonder if it's because it's almost sort of they're playing in front of their home crowd, so they're not basically performing in front of a neutral venue like in Mid-South or where have we seen them as well, AWA, and I think we might have saw one in the Meadowlands. That they're working for their people in Crockett territory. So I think that might have helped as well. But I thought this is certainly the best Flair Dusty match we've watched on the podcast so far.
Yeah, I agree. So really, the Roanoke. So that ends this house show in Roanoke. But gotta say, Roanoke get a 2 out of 3 Falls Midnight Express match and this match, and unfortunately the U.S. title match. But I think they got the bang for their buck on this house show tonight. So really, really good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so that actually ends what we're going to talk about from a Crockett standpoint. But we're going to go to our Crockett Spotlight feature that we debuted on our last episode, looking at teams that are in the Crockett Cup. And we're going to do 2 tonight. The first one we're going to look at is from Memphis. And only one of these teams is in the Crockett Cup, but it is the return. Everyone wondered, Buddy Landell just disappeared. Well, guess what? Buddy Landell is in Memphis, and he is teaming with Bill Dundee, and he is in the middle of a feud with Jerry Lawler and Dutch Mantel. And Buddy Landell and Dundee are actually going to be in the Crockett Cup. So we will see Landell return to the NWA in some form or fashion, even though he'll be teaming with Dundee. So we'll start the match. This feud's been going on between the 4 of them for some time. All 4 brawl before the bell even rings. The faces clear the ring. The bell rings, and they brawl outside. Faces clear the ring again. Dundee kept throwing the chairs in the ring, which it was just very entertaining. He was talking to the announcer and talking smack and throwing chairs in the ring. Back in, the heels hold Lawler, but he ducks twice, causing Landell to hit Dundee. Faces took turns beating up Landell. The ref stops Landell for doing a pile driver, which I believe at the time was a DQ in Memphis automatically. Dundee misses a top rope knee to Lawler. They fight on floor. Dundee is bleeding at this point from multiple punches to the eye by Lawler. Heels take over on Lawler. Lawler is thrown into a standing table outside by Dundee. Landell punches Lawler, and as Dundee chokes him with rope, Dundee bites Lawler, and now Lawler is bleeding. There is just a lot of punching in this match, but it looks very stiff. We get a chain. They get a chain, and Lawler ducks. Dundee hits Buddy instead. Then all 4 in the ring, and now Landell is now bleeding. Dutch and Dundee fight into the crowd. All 4 are fighting again back in the ring later. Mandel keeps throwing Dundee out, which was great as the ring. And the match is stopped as Landell cannot continue because he is bleeding too much, and they stop. This was a straight-up war. Dundee, after the match, goes after the ref. Faces beat the shit out of Dundee after that on the table. Then they do it to Landell, too. Guys, I love this. I thought it was a really great Memphis brawl. I went 3 stars. Mantel and Lawler actually would have been a good team for the Crockett Cup as well, so I'm a little disappointed we didn't get them. Dr. G, I will go to you first. What did you think of this match?
I love Memphis wrestling. I remember when we did get it for a short period of time when I was living in Florida. Anytime they showed like some of these matches from the Coliseum, they're just battle brawling.
Well, remember when we had that 6-man brawl between the Horsemen, Dusty, Magnum, and Lawler? That was a great brawl too.
They just had a gritty way of booking down there. It was just always just, you're not going to get a lot of scientific wrestling. If you're looking for that, don't watch Memphis wrestling. But if you want to watch for some good brawls and even the story to it wasn't bad. I mean, Buddy Landell, again, here's another guy that's just a total underachiever. He just was, he unfortunately just did it to himself. He was just a great heel. I mean, just somebody you really want to hate. And in this match, Mantel and Lawler working well together. Even Bill Dundee did a phenomenal job. I gave it 3 stars as well. I love watching the matches from Memphis at the Memphis Coliseum, like the main event matches. They're usually always action packed. They're not very long, but they keep you engaged. And I was glad you put this on there. I actually really enjoyed it.
Yep. So, again, Landell and Dundee will be in the Crockett Cup. Not Lawler and Mantel, unfortunately. But, yeah, again, fun brawl. Someone should do a Memphis podcast, but I guess people don't have 30 years to kill because there's a lot of history in there. But, Calum, what did you think of this match?
This style of match is right up my street.
Yes, I thought so. This
is as much as I like a good horse fight, as we've seen. I just like all out bloody brawls, but better. They are my bag. As Austin Powers would say. Don't know why I said it. But yeah, this was excellent. I have actually gone 3.5 on it because I thought it was just everything that you could have wanted it really to be if they're going to have this type of match. And I know that Memphis is normally, as Dr. G was saying, that Memphis is known for this sort of thing. This is quite strange when you're expecting a match like this for it to actually happen, because I know I was guilty of expecting this type of match from a lot of the ones we saw from Puerto Rico, and we never quite got it. But this delivered. In every sense. I think for it to only be about maybe 10-15 minutes, they packed a lot in. The particular highlight for me was that there was a woman when right at the very end when they were slamming Landell's face into the table, she kept shouting one more time, yeah. Which was really, really funny. And it adds something when you can hear the crowd are genuinely getting into it. So yeah, 3.5 stars for me. It would have been 4 stars, but then I deducted 0.5 star for the amount of hair that Dutch Mantel has on his body. He's a very hairy man.
I thought it was a shirt. I thought he was wearing a shirt.
He is very hairy. But yeah, by the way, I also forgot to mention this match actually took place also in March 10th of 86. So this is still happening at the time as we're going through this. So Scott, finally, what did you think of this match?
Yeah, this was a really fun match. As I've roughly the same height as Jerry Lawler, and Bill Dundee looks like a little kid next to him. So I'm not sure if you can beat little kids in Memphis, Tennessee anymore. I'll have to check into that. But no, it was a lot of fun. Lawler was on point, beating the hell out of Landell. Landell was just bumping for him and Dutch like no other. I did like Dundee grabbing like a chain. They said it was the chain, but it looked like the rope just to keep the fans away, and was trying to choke Lawler with it in the corner. That was great. Then Dutch and Dundee were brawling in the crowd, and then they had a cheap finish where Landell was unable to continue. I thought this was like supposed to be the end all be all, and they just do that crap finish, which I know it's Memphis and they do stuff like that because they were in Mid-South Coliseum every week. I went 2 3/4 stars on this.
All right, so yeah, really, really fun brawl. So we'll see what Landell and Dundee do at the Crockett Cup. And again, it's a shame we didn't get Lawler and Mantel. It would have been good to see them in that as well, and added some big star power there with Lawler. But yeah, really, really good match. All right, our second Crockett Spotlight match. Both these teams are in the Crockett Cup, and this is actually taking place March 27th, 1985. Don't ask me how I found it, because all I did was put in one tag team's name and this popped up. But it's the Road Warriors versus the team of Rick Martel and Dino Bravo. Yes, Rick Martel and Dino Bravo were scheduled to be in the Crockett Cup. We'll talk about what happens there. But yes, both these teams are scheduled to be in the Crockett Cup, and this takes place about a year earlier than the month we're in right now. So the Warriors are still the AWA Tag Team Champions. Martel is your AWA World Champion. It's a slow start. Martel gets the first big move with a nice arm drag on Animal. Martel then gets a full Nelson on Hawk, who powers out of it and goes for a press slam. But Martel rolls up from behind for 2. Hawk gets a backbreaker. Martel body press for 2 on a missed clothesline. Bravo comes in and tests his strength with Hawk. Dino powers out into a monkey flip to Hawk. Warriors take turns double teaming Bravo. Then there's a hot tag to Martel. It's short-lived as Hawk kicks him in the face. All 4 in the ring. Then there's chairs in the ring. Martel and Dino clock Warriors with them. The Warriors throw tables in the ring. It's a fun brawl. I think it's a double DQ. But again, another kind of a fun brawl with 2 teams that I never knew really met, or a team of Martel and Bravo that I never really knew existed. I went 2.5 stars on this. Calum, what did you think of this quick little match between the Warriors and Martel and Bravo?
Wasn't bad. It
wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's another interesting. My overriding thought was it was a very interesting visual and an interesting watch, because I don't really know. I mean, I don't really know how much footage there is of. I am assuming this is like a Canadian territory. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's like, is it the Quebec territory, wherever Martel's from. I think yes, it would have been, because that's where Bravo based himself, was out of Quebec. It's also interesting to see Dino Bravo pre-steroid blow and probably pre-involvement with the mafia. Not much of an improvement, I will say that, on Bravo's part. The best parts of the match were when Martel was in the ring, which would probably not be a surprise to anyone listening. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting watch. It wasn't bad at all. I think I've gone 2 stars on it. But no, perfectly acceptable. And it was quite interesting to see as well. You don't often see when TV time remaining matches, you don't often see them going off the air with they're still wrestling behind the credits rolling. So that was quite fun. That was quite funny as well. But no, it was absolutely fine.
All right, Dr. G, what did you think of this match?
I gave it 2.5 stars.
Okay.
It was a solid match. I was trying to figure out what territory it was out of. Those announcers were a little dry, but I don't know. I forget what they were saying, what company it was, or what.
I honestly don't know what company it was, to be honest with you. I don't.
But
obviously they're AWA World Champions still, so.
Yeah. So I'm surprised to see, Dino Bravo and Rick Martel as a tag team at this time. So, but it was different, looking at it on paper, I was like, well, how good is this going to be? But it was actually pretty entertaining. I enjoyed it.
All right. Scott, what'd you think?
I'm sorry. This match was a slog to get through, and it was only like 8 minutes.
Get out of here. Whatever.
And I usually like matches like this, but I don't know. I just wasn't feeling this. I will say, you guys were right. The match was good. Well, it was passable when Martel was in the ring with the Road Warriors. When Bravo came in, I felt like I was taking 16 bullets to the head.
Oh, Scott. Scott. Wow.
Good Lord.
Good Lord, man. Sir. Wow.
I don't know. It just didn't end like I was okay with it ending with the credits rolling, but then you see like a chair come in at the end. I went 1.5 stars with this. I don't know. I just want to see Road Warriors just like destroying people, and them selling for Martel. Just not for me.
All right. Well, Scott, that was certainly a take. Dino Bravo, NWA Crock and Roll and Place to Be Nation do not represent the opinions of one Scott Shiflett. But yeah, anyway, both those teams are scheduled to be in the Crockett Cup. So now we've looked at so in the last 2 episodes, we looked at the fabulous ones, the Guerreros, Landell and Dundee, and now the Road Warriors and Dino Bravo and Rick Martel. So we'll have more to come over the next few weeks, some more teams that'll be in there, and we'll see where we go from here. So, gentlemen, with that actually ends our episode for tonight. So let's go to our episode awards. So the David Crockett Award for the best overall moment on the show or your favorite thing. Inappropriate Scott, I will go to you first.
I'm going to go with Tully winning the title. That's my favorite thing, his promo and then the actual win. It was great.
All right, Calum?
I will go with the post match, the interview that Dusty did after they've taken everything from me. Promo.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going with the Dusty taking his clothes off. Dr. G, best moment, overall favorite thing.
I'm with Scott when Tully won the championship and the promo, the whole deal there. I just thought that was so well done, and one of the best feuds and storylines that we've seen, during this watch.
All right, the Arn Anderson Award for best promo. I will go to Calum first.
I think I'll probably just go with it. I think I'll probably just go with the same, the same one.
The Dusty.
Yeah.
All right, Scott.
I'm sorry. I'm going with the Magnum when he was threatening the Russians. I really love that promo for some reason.
Okay, I will go to Dr. G. What's your favorite Arn Anderson Award best promo?
I have to go with Dusty as well. I do agree with Scott. I thought the Magnum promo was really good, but Dusty was really entertaining and good in that promo. Yeah,
I'm torn. I love the Ric Flair promo too, but Dusty just losing his shit and saying they're taking everything from me, my pride. And, I think you got to go with Dusty on this one. That was just so out there and just so well done and believable. All right, the Dusty Broken Leg Award, the best angle this month or continuing angle. Obviously, for me, it's Tully and Dusty. Dr. G, what was yours?
Make it 2 for 2.
All right, Calum?
I think this is going to be a very Tully and Dusty heavy awards segment.
Scott, I assume you the same?
Yes, sir.
All right, the Jimmy Valiant Award for worst match. Hands down for me, it's Nikita and Magnum. Calum?
Well... I don't think there was any bad matches on this one, but I think by process of elimination, I think it has to be the Road Warriors against Martel and Bravo, because that got my lowest score. But not a bad match was watched on this one.
All right, it's Nikita and Magnum. Scott.
Road Warriors versus Bravo Martel.
Oh, get out of here!
Yes.
You went lower on Nikita and Magnum.
I know, but I lost my will to live with that one.
Oh my! What a shit take, Dr. G.
I went with Magnum and Nikita as well.
God damn, man! All right, the Jimmy Valiant Award. Oh, no, that was the Jimmy Valiant Award. I'm sorry. The Magnum Award for best match. This is going to be hard, guys. We had a lot of good matches on this episode, so I'm going to go to Scott first.
I'm going with Flair and Dusty, but I don't know. Tully and Dusty. Sorry, Tully and Dusty. Just
Tully and Dusty.
Yeah.
Okay. Calum.
I know this is Crock and Roll and all that, but I'm going Jerry Lawler and Dutch Mantel against Bill Dundee and Buddy Landell.
Dr. G.
Well, I went Tully and Dusty as well.
Dude, this is hard for me because I love Tully and Dusty. I love Dusty Flair. But I really, really liked that Memphis Brawl. I think I'm going to have to go with Calum on that one with the Memphis Brawl. That was really good.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. There's something about it. It's not a bad I could actually pick all three of them, to be honest with you. They're all really, really great. The Wahoo Award. This month's LVP. I am going with Nikita Koloff. Colin McDougal. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to change it. I'm going to go with Dino Bravo. I apologize. Dino Bravo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm alone on this island. I didn't think there was anything bad, so I think it has to be Dino Bravo because he was the weak link in the worst match that we saw. So kind
of by
Dino
proxy,
Bravo.
It has to be Dino Bravo.
I think it has to be. Yeah, he was in an 8 days worth that we've covered here, worth of stuff. He was 8 days worth of excellent stuff. He was the worst part of all the good stuff. So.
Yep, I agree. LVP Scott, who is it for you?
Dino Bravo.
All right, Dr. G.
They get a clean sweep.
All right. So our last award, the Flair Award, the MVP this month for me, it is going to be Dusty Rhodes. The match with Tully, the match with Flair, his post-match promo, taking his clothes off. I don't imagine anyone else will have anyone different than Dusty, but I'll see. Dr. G, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Dusty as well.
All right, Scott?
Dusty.
And Calum?
Nikita goddamn Koloff.
Oh, get out of here. What's the real answer?
Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes. And by the way, no offense to Nikita Koloff. He is a great friend of the show. So we're just calling it as we see it on this show, whereas Calum is very biased towards the Koloff name, which is fine.
I call it as I saw it. Right. What I'm going to do is I am going to go back. Right. I'm going to go back. I'm going to make sure, because I clearly got a bit confused when it came to what we were watching. As I said, I think it was the start of this one or the end of the last one where I started watching it out of order. I'll go and make sure I watch the correct match, because the match that I watched, I enjoyed. And if I've watched the wrong match, then I will come back in the next episode in 2 weeks' time and hold my hands up, and I'll give you a proper rating on it.
Calum, you know what I'm looking forward to?
Probably a Wahoo McDaniel match.
I'm looking forward to September '86, where we have a match between Nikita Koloff and Wahoo McDaniel.
And I hope my cousin Nikita takes his fucking head off. And I will look forward to it.
I very much look forward to that match, but Jesus. Well, we'll just have to see how this TA Nikita thing. It's very clear that G and I are one side of the fence, and then you got you two on the other side of the fence. So we'll see how it plays out. All right. Very good. So that ends episode number 34 of NWA Crock and Roll. On our next episode, we will take a look at March 15th through March 22nd. We'll have an Arn Anderson TV title match. And on our Crockett Spotlight, we will take a look at another two teams that were supposed to be in the Crockett Cup. And it'll be Dr. Death Steve Williams and Ted DiBiase's versus the Sheep Herders, which should be a banger. So that'll be our Crockett Spotlight match on the next podcast. So with that, before we go, plugs. So I will go to Calum McDougal first.
You can find me on the Special Released podcast, where myself and my British brethren, Ben and Rory, we'll just talk whatever we come up with, literally 5 minutes before we start recording. So we don't, at this point in time, and we've not recorded it, so I don't know what's going to be on, but it should be a good time nonetheless. I am one of the contributing voices on PTB and Pedestal, which is one of the newer shows on the feed, and it's wonderful, as a couple of the guys on here are also voices, and they can attest to. And I would also appreciate as at the time of recording, I mentioned it in the last episode, the time of recording, we have just had our most successful Twitch live watch, or I say Twitch live watch, our premium live event live watch, because it does go over a few different platforms. So you can find us on the in the digital world. Excuse me, I'll need to cut this one out because I've completely drawn a blank. You can find us on twitch.tv/Place to Be Nation, facebook.com/PTBN Live, at PTBN YouTube on Twitter, and Place to Be Nation, all one word, on YouTube. We don't have a fancy URL for that, so it's just search Place to Be Nation, all one word, and you will find us there. And it's only when I say it out loud that I've made the complete rookie mistake of not having it all be the one thing. That's why I keep getting lost. But if you could like, subscribe, follow, whatever you may do on whatever platform you use, that would be greatly appreciated.
All right, Calum, thank you. Scott.
Yeah, I can be found on Scott_Shufflet on Twitter, unless you're part of the Canadian Mafia, that I don't have any social media.
What's wrong with you? God.
I can be found doing a bunch of pods on the Pop feed and the PTB and Wrestling feed. And don't forget to check out Noso and the Jenny position. Everyone's cranking out great stuff in this new year.
Oh, Scott, you're going to hell. You're going to hell. Dr. G.
I could be reached at Dr. G PTV on Twitter. Every Saturday morning, listen to the NWA Saturday Special where I cover the new NWA with my co-host, the Podfather Scott Criscolo, and we really we've been enjoying it, and we're looking to see what's in store for 2022, which I think is I think it's going to be the biggest year in a long time in the new NWA. So hopefully we'll be able to break it down every single Saturday at 9 a.m. for you.
Yeah, Dr. G, I will say the only thing I'm concerned about with the new rise in COVID cases, I think the NWA was one of the most cautious ones of those. So I hope they don't kind of revert back to what it was, with no student, you know what I mean? So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that doesn't happen.
Well, it looks like they recorded a lot already, so
Yeah.
It should get us through. I from sources I know that are in the medical industry, this is going to tail off by the end of the month. So.
Oh no, I fully expect that too. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. As for me, you can find me on NWA Crock and Roll on Twitter. You can find this podcast not only on Place to Be Nation, but you can also find it over on the Wrestling Index website as well. And you can find me on numerous pods throughout the feeds. And then before we close out, let me go to Scott, because Scott, I need you to do your plugs too.
I already did.
Oh, you did? I guess I was. I'm sorry. Oh, that's right. I think I'm blindsided by your Dino Bravo takes tonight have taken me aback a little bit. So I apologize for that. But anyway, guys, thank you for listening to episode number 34. We love doing this podcast, and we love talking NWA and Crockett Wrestling. It's an exciting journey here in March, and we still got 2 episodes left to go to March before we get to April, where we start talking about Crockett Cup. But we'll continue the spotlight. We'll continue to talk about Crockett. We have a lot of interesting things going on to end March as well. So with that, we will see you all in 2 weeks with episode number 35. Have a good day, everybody.